Hello, I am Jessica Duggan, the chair of the London branch of the Young Communist League, the youth wing of the Communist Party of Britain. Welcome to this episode of Challenge TV. Today I'm interviewing Ayelén Beigbeder about her close friend and comrade Florencia Gómez and the endemic violence against women in Argentina that led to her death. To give you a little bit of context about the situation, on the 12th of October, the town of San Jorge, Buenos Aires, María Florencia Gómez Pouillastrou, known as Florencia Gómez, and she will be referred to this throughout the interview, was murdered, and her body was found abandoned in a field in the local area. The 35-year-old woman was an active feminist who had recently become a city councillor. Florencia Gómez was a comrade of LaFide, the youth federation, the Communist Youth Federation of Argentina. Florencia was a militant socialist and a member of the Communist Party in San Jorge. She was one more victim of a sexist system, as her murder was motivated by sexist violence. The case was determined to be rape, followed by death, aggravated by gender violence. The Argentinian feminist organisation, Mumala, recorded 213 femicides already this year. This has been exacerbated by the coronavirus pandemic, with the country reaching a 10-year high. Violence against women is not slowing and is appearing globally rampant, as we just passed the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women on the 25th of November. Here in the UK, a recent femicide census has shown that in the last decade, 3 women a week have been killed by men. This week, alongside the Communist Party of Britain's London branch, we have campaigned alongside our Turkish and Kurdish sisters who are facing extreme violence from their right-wing government. Ayelén Beigbeder, a friend and comrade of Florencia, is campaigning alongside LaFide to demand justice for Florencia and to end endemic violence against women in Argentina. Ayelén is here with me today to be interviewed about her experiences of losing a friend and comrade to a tragic act of femicide. Hello, Ayelén, and welcome. Thank you for agreeing to be interviewed today. It's fantastic to have you here. That's okay.
Hello, Jessica. Thank you for inviting me. I am really happy to be here, and I am sorry because of my English, but I think that we will understand each other, so let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. We've also got the translator here who will be able to help with any issues that we might have, but I'm sure it will be fine. So I'll now ask you some questions, if that's okay. So the first one, I'd like to just know, can you tell me a little bit more about Florencia and her legacy?
Yes, okay. Florencia was one of our comrades from a little town named San Jorge, as you said. She was gender responsible of the province. I don't know if you know, Argentina has like different states, and one of these is Santa Fe. She was the gender responsible there, and she has very, very, very powerful militancy there in San Jorge, because okay, San Jorge is a really small town, and she was there like doing like territory labor as with I don't know how to say, Robin, if you can help me, huertas, when you go and you have your own plants, and I don't know how to say, I will search the translation. But she was like one of the very important person in San Jorge, and she was going on. We have here in Argentina, like in 2017, I think, we had one murder of Micaela Garcia, and after this murder, we made as a feminist movement a law. It's called Law Micaela, and in this law you should, as a state organization, like for example, I don't know, the justice or every part of the state must have a gender for education. So Florencia was in charge of this gender education on San Jorge. So I mean, she was a really good militant, and she had like a review in which she used to write about feminism in order to talk about the I don't know, the pregnancy, the respect of women, and the labor in the domestic area, and about the gender violence too. And okay, she was like a multitask militation. Yeah. And as you said, she was murdered. We don't know what happened with the last, I don't know, the last minutes of her life. Until now, we don't have any suspicious. And I don't know, it's a really sad thing. And San Jorge is a really, I don't know how to say, but you know, the prostitution, but human traffic. Okay, San Jorge has a lot of human traffic, so she was working in order to save some women of this traffic, and in order to her militancy work or her work in the Communist League here in Argentina. We think that her murder has something about the issues that she used to work on, because you know, the feminists, when we go to work in some area, we make a little I don't know, maybe we don't know which kind of power we are in front of, and this kind of power is really I don't know, a very bad power. And okay, I think that Florencia has made a lot of work in this area, and that's why the date of her death, a lot of people in this really small village went out to the streets. Even if we have here in Argentina the pandemic of the coronavirus is really hard, and but the people in the town said, okay, what happened with Florencia? We saw her every day. She was solidarity. She was really nice person, and what happened with her? So I'm sorry, this is my cat. And that's why everybody went out to the streets and said, okay, let's go find the killer. Let's go find him, because we are really a small village and there are a murder on the freedom, and he can make this same act again. So we are really in danger. But okay, it has been 46 days before her death, and we don't have any information.
Wow, that's so sad. Thank you for telling me about that. It sounds like she was like such an integral member of the community. And I think it's just so shocking, like the contradiction of her death being like part of her life's work as well. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I send all my thoughts really with all of her friends and family, and solidarity to the campaign. I really do.
Thank you.
I know that the community in San Jorge and in Santa Fe is very close knit and it's quite small. Could you tell me a little bit about the impact on the community?
Okay, at the first I want to tell you, in Argentina we have one femicide each 23 hours. I mean, it's more than one woman murder each day. And okay, these are the official numbers, so we can say it could be the double of these numbers. and every 15 days, the killer is a girl, like less of 14 years. And these are the numbers in Argentina. So we are really on an emergency, and that's why a really big part of our fight now for justice for Florencia is to make some change in order to the education and the security of the people, to stop these numbers, to stop this killing. And we said, okay, femicide, the femicides are like a pandemia, but I think that femicide, the femicide, I'm sorry, the femicide are more like a genocide. You don't know if you, because we said every femicide is a political crime. Why we said that? We said that because there a system, the patriarchal system, who is the very floor of this system, the capitalism system. And if we don't have this social relation in the patriarchal system, we couldn't think about the capitalism developing, because the family, the human reproduce, and the domestic labor is a really central part of the capitalism system. So we said, this femicide, this kind of femicide in Argentina and in a lot of countries in the Latin America region, for example, are because the women are hiding our heads, our voice, and we are really yelling that, okay, stop with this, because we don't have change to survive. So if we can have this change of survive, okay, everything is wrong, and we will not stop until the fall of the patriarchal system. I don't know if I am clear, but okay, this is why we said that the femicide is like a genocide. And this is the most important part of our presentation in the justice here in Argentina, because we said Florencia was murdered. We don't know why, we don't know the killer, but we know that Florencia is the femicide of Florencia is part of the femicide in Argentina, and we know that this is because the movement, the feminist movement, is getting stronger. So we present, the Communist Party in Argentina present at the justice as, I don't know, Robin, if you can help me with the word querellante, because it's like a technical complaint. I don't know if this means something with you.
Yeah, sorry, a lawsuit, or you're bringing the case to court?
Yes, when you go to the court and you said, okay, this murder is affecting me as political party. Why? Because Florencia was how to say, leader. This word I have. Florencia was the leader of the communist youth here in Argentina, and because we said that femicide is like a genocide, so as you know, because every communist party in the war fight against the exploitation, we said the sexual exploitation and the gender exploitation is part of our fights. So in order of this very original statement that every communist stand up, we said, okay, here we need to talk about that, and we need to be involved in this investigation. So we are waiting the results of this presentation in the justice in the court. Till now, the court said, okay, you are communist, so if you want to say anything about the justice, just go to election, win the election, and then you can talk about whatever you want. But we are here saying, okay, the political parties in Argentina are a really strong part of the society, because you know, our country is really okay, this is not a poor country, this is a really rich country, but managed by like monkeys with a knife, I don't know, because here the president and the political power is really crazy. And we said the political party here in Argentina, in each crisis, and we know that there are crises in Argentina like every day, because the economic situation of colonialism and okay, you know, it's really killing us, and we don't have even the food assured. So the political party here in Argentina has a really big role. So we said we are not able only for elections, we are working now with people and with the society. So this is like a crazy argument of the justice of the court, and okay, we are fighting against it. So I just want to tell about this.
Yeah, great. Thank you for that. I really like respond well to I don't know how to phrase it properly, but like I think the comparison between femicide and the genocide is very apt and is very compelling, and it links inherently to political issues in that sense. So it's great to hear the work of the Communist Party in Argentina. So sort of following on from that, actually, would you be able to tell me just a little bit of context about the sort of current political situation in Argentina, and like the relationship between like the working class and the interests of the working class in relation to the political party in power?
Okay. Argentina I don't know, but is a unique country, I think, because we have the Peronism here, which is a really strange kind of social movement or kind of political party, because sometimes it's more like a movement than a party. Now we are ruled by a political front, who's called Front of Everybody. Okay, in this front is everybody indeed inside. So we have a really big right wing and left wing. As political party, as communist party, we are inside this front since the very beginning. And inside this front are all the communist party. You know, in each country we have a lot of communist party. Here we have like 5 or 6 communist party, and they are all inside there. And okay, it's a really complicated situation, because we had the very conservative liberal government of Mauricio Macri, and we won the election with this everybody front. And but in order to win this election, we should make this front really big. So till now we have the hegemony. I don't know if it's okay. The hegemony. Okay, I will search it.
Hegemony.
Yes, hegemony. Okay, it has
power?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's on the right wing, and so okay, the government is not very popular. I mean, this is a popular government, but the political measures, they are not popular. They are all for the rich class, because we have here in Argentina the most important business is the soya business. And for you to have this such business, you don't have any taxes to export, for example. And here in Argentina, if you don't have any taxes for export, you know, the rich people are like winning and winning and winning a lot of money. And the poor people is like, okay, but I can't buy even a supermarket stuff, so I don't have money. And with the pandemic crisis, the economy here in Argentina is not a lot of it's not legal, the most of the employer, so the situation is really bad. We don't know how to fix it. We know that the government is like trying to be in the middle of the right and the left demands, but this is not possible. It's just impossible. So the situation is really getting hard. And if you know, this week death Maradona. So this is a political situation too, because everybody went to the streets, and we have 3 days of I don't know how to say, when the flag is till the middle of the in the public buildings. Look, is the word morning.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so people here now is really sad. It's really sad. Everybody is like with the long faces, and everybody is like talking in slow motion. Like, I don't know how to express, but Maradona was a really important people here for the Argentinian people, because he was a poor guy who could climb and said for us, for example, about the anti-imperialism practice of Maradona with Maduro, with Chavez, even in this very big political act about the No al Alca in like 15 years ago. Maradona has a T-shirt who said, Bush out of Argentina. So we said that this kind of T-shirt, this kind of express, make a difference in the people here. So if you talk about Chavez, for example, everybody is okay with Chavez because Maradona was okay with Chavez. The same thing happened with Fidel and a lot of other characters. So this is the situation now. But the economy of Argentina is really in crisis, and this is because of the imperialism. We didn't have any other answer to that. If we don't have sovereignty in the economy, in the geography, even in the ocean, you know that we have our Malvinas Argentinas, who is a NATO base here in the continent. So we are really in a bad situation, but we know that the only way to change it is in order to make a sovereignty movement and imperialism here, here in all the region, because here in Latin America we can't think about the liberation of one nation if you don't think the liberation of the broader nation. So we are really a big country, and we need to start talking about anti-imperialism again. You know that here in Bolivia we had the election. Fortunately, the coup d'etat stopped, I don't know, maybe it's the first time that coup d'etat with these characteristics ends so far. But okay, this is one of our hopes. Here in Argentina, we had the election last year, so we have 3 years more of this government. We don't know which kind of government will be in the next 3 years, because, you know, for example, even before the take of power, I don't know, the take of power of the president of Alberto Fernandez, he ordered to keep hearing safe to Evo Morales. So this kind of action are really important for us and for the region. So if this president continue with this kind of action, okay, we could think about, I don't know, a little possibility of freedom in the next years, and a little possibility of make some kind of front anti-imperialist as the one that we had with Lula, with Bachelet, okay, with Maduro, no, it was Chavez at the power, with Chavez, with Raúl Castro, and all of those big leaders. We don't have them, but we have their ideas. So I think that we can handle it by ourselves. So this is our hope, and we don't have any change of being sovereignty, of build our sovereignty, if we don't think about the whole continent. This is really important for us. So.
Absolutely, thank you for that, like really rigorous context situation. I feel like I understand it now, and it sounds actually an element similar to issues that we face in the United Kingdom. You know, with issues of sovereignty. You know, we face similar issues with Brexit and leaving the European Union. And also like the election of the People's Front, you know, sadly we lost that election last December, but yes, similar struggles, absolutely. You also touched on the death of Maradona, and it's obviously very recent. It was not in my interview script, so if you don't want to answer questions that you're not prepared for, that's absolutely fine. But I wanted to ask you a little bit about your thoughts about Maradona's relationships with women and his potentially abusive and misogynistic relationships, and how we view this, and perhaps the reflection that it has on a wider issue of men in the left who, while you know, are politically accurate in a lot of other spheres in terms of, you know, imperialism and similar issues, they sure fought on advocating for women. Would you like to answer a little bit about that?
Okay. You know, we had a little discussion inside our gender commission here in Argentina because of this. And I don't know if we don't have a statement as like an official statement about that. We didn't write enough. But what I want to say, and I think that is an opinion that a lot of comrades will share with me, is that the problem is when you think that your hero is not a human being. Here, Maradona was like just a guy. He wasn't prepared for everybody, for everything. He was a football player. So he was a football player, and he became the number one of the world, and he gets a lot of power. And if we try to think or to make a review of all what he said and he did, okay, I think that he should have like I don't know, 2,000 kids probably, and he was a sexuality like, I don't know, he was not so good in this plane. I just want to think what why we expect a lot of our heroes, why we don't think that they are people like everybody that, for example, use drugs and don't have the moral value that we want. Maradona wasn't the new man as the Che Guevara want to become, but in what he said and what he made was a very, very significant thing in Argentina. If you know, in the time that he was playing and the first line of the football and the war, we was facing the most violent coup d'etat here, and we had a lot of people disappearing. And Maradona with his soccer play, and when he was playing here the Global Cup, he was like turn on the joy of the people. So I think that Maradona, in some way, he saved one generation here in Argentina because of my father, for example, or my mother. Okay, this generation was really, really bad on this time. This is the reason that I think that we should, okay, respect the feelings. For the other side, okay, yes, he was misogynist and he wasn't a good person. He wasn't a good father. He wasn't a good husband. I am really sure about that, even if I don't know him. I don't knew him. And yes, but I don't know if we should demand this generation to be feminist. I think that we demand the actual generation to be feminism, because if somebody here now of our age, for example, has an appropriate I don't know how to say comportment, we need to, okay, we need to mark it and to stop it. But this kind of I don't know, all the heroes, they don't have the same society that we have, and the gender issues are really, really getting stronger and making us a new reflection. So I don't know, there are no contradictions between in a lot of part of in a lot of feminism movement here in Argentina about this. Every feminism people was crying for his death. So maybe I can share with you some articles that could explain a little more about that, what kind of feminism we want, if we want a feminism liberal, or we don't want a feminism, a classist feminism, like we need to know that our society is not what we wish, is what we have. So with this kind of people, we need to make the revolution. We need to organize the revolution. And in our transit in our road to the revolution, we will have a lot of people that are not what we expect. But I want to know if the people has never make any mistake. For example, I read a comrade who said, okay, when I was young, I wasn't feminism, and I don't have any feminism comportment in my way to treat with women. And I understood now. I made this. I have been educated because of the society here. Make a really good effort for that. So we are now a better society, and I think that we need to understand that a lot of people older than us will not be, I don't know, actualized in these parameters that are news. They are news because, you know, if, for example, my grandmother didn't marry with the guy that she loved. And that kind of thing was usually happening here. And I couldn't imagine this situation for me or for, I don't know, some daughter or son that I could have sometimes, but I can't have this situation in my mind. The society had changed. So we need to be with these changes. But I don't think that punitivism is the way to interpretation, to get the best interpretation of the people that precede us. For example, we couldn't have the Che Guevara flag if we think about it, because he was homophobic. Even Fidel had an evolution, a big evolution in his thought about the homosexual and the feminist movement and these stuff. So I think that everybody needs to be respect and treat as what he wants to be. Maradona himself said that I am not an example for anybody. If you want to have an example, look for it in your own family. Don't look for it in me. So I don't know. I don't know if I was clear, but okay.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think that's a really fantastic response, and I actually really agree with you on many of the points that you've mentioned.
But okay, I want to say, we don't have to wash anybody's faces. Maradona was a musician, and I don't like the people, the person Maradona. I love the player, and I love the political guy. And I want to say one only more thing. Maradona has been saved for Fidel Castro and the Cuban Revolution, because he was really going to death because of his drug addiction. And Fidel Castro really, and Cuba, changed his mind. And I think that a lot of things that Maradona become after that is think of him. And this is what I want to resaltar, Robin, is result, like to, when you said remark. This is what I want to remark. I take this remark for sure. But okay, this is what I want to remark. This guy has changed, and his thought was evolutionary, getting evolve. And so I don't know, maybe if the Soviet Union will still up, he will be better than he was in his life. But okay, I think that he is one of the most real representative of the Argentinian people. And here in Argentina, we are a little like Maradona. So that's it. But viva Fidel Castro. And if you know, Maradona said the same, and this is what we need to keep. And I have an anecdote, I don't know, anecdotic. Anecdote, yes. One of the nephew of Maradona was in our camp the last year, because we had a bar, La Fede had a bar, and in the neighborhood that was the neighborhood of Maradona, who is called La Paternal. And one of his nephews come to our bar because he said, everybody in my family loves Fidel, loves Cuba, and loves the socialism, so I will be with you for everybody, for what we need. and okay, he's a really good friend of La Fede, his nephew. And okay, so that's why I am really sorry for his loss, and La Fede are really sorry for his loss. But they are really good people, and you know, Maradona is maybe the most powerful guy in the world, and their nephew are like you or like me, people like normal and humility, and okay, I keep that because this is not frequently.
Wow, that's a really interesting anecdote. It's great to see that his family are committed to socialism, like in the same way that he was. And I think you made some really interesting points. It's really actually got me thinking, like, about how we view this situation as Marxist-Leninists, you know, and a compel against revisionism and critical analysis of, you know, previous socialist movements and socialist people in themselves. But yeah, thank you for that. I think we'll move on from the Maradona conversation. I have a few more questions for you. And one of them is, I want to know how the impact and the threat of violence affects Argentinian women's everyday lives. You can probably talk about this as a personal experience, but it seems to be a really tangible threat, and I want to know, like, to what extent, you know, this is happening.
What is the impact of what? Excuse me.
So the impact of the violence and the threat of the femicide, how does this impact women in Argentina and their everyday lives?
Okay, so in Argentina we have like the feminism movement, like 5 years ago, took a new force with the abortion campaign. You know, here in Argentina, we don't have legal abortion. We don't have. We just have a legal abortion for violations. Violations is not, I think. Okay, and I don't know some other cause more, but we don't have the legal interruption of pregnancy. So with this campaign, it took like a lot of people, really a lot of people went out to the streets to make the protest, and this was like a new impact of the feminism in Argentina in a positive way, because we are always like crying and saying, okay, it's everything it sucks, but okay, no, everything is not like this, because people has they want to fight. Women and the girls, the little girls, like 10 years, they want to fight. They develop their own thoughts, and they are like writing their own, I don't know, protest pancarta. And okay, so I think that this has been really powerful, because this girl went with to this came to the families to talk about the feminism and why they want to have the right to decide what to do with their life and with their bodies. And the other impact is about the travestis, I don't know, the transsexual people, because we had here in Argentina, we had one very popular leader of the transgender people, who was called Loana Berkins. I don't know if you heard about her, but okay, she was a comrade from the Communist Party. We was the first party in Argentina to take a comrade transsexual to work in the office of one of our deputies. So this was a really big change in 2001, I don't know, the first year of this new century. With this situation, we changed the perspective of the feminist movement here. we don't have a TERF, I don't know, you know, the red femmes who said that transgender are not women or don't have the right or everything that. This kind of thoughts are really minoritary in Argentina. So we have a very big and a very big front in the feminist movement. You know, here we have these numbers of the violence and the feminism and the femicide. And the femicide are 1 each 23 hours here in Argentina. So the emergency is in our faces, and the government isn't doing anything to change it. At the very beginning of this government, they made a ministry of gender and women's and equality in order to work about this kind of issue. But with the pandemic, and because the pandemic is the best excuse ever for not doing anything, so this ministry has no money to work. So that is just like a name in a field, but with anything of public political regulation, and so this don't have any impact in the society. But okay, we are working with this ministry in order to organize the gender militancy in order to go to work with each family in Argentina. You know, that this kind of campaign that you knock the door of your village or of your neighborhood to talk about the violence of the guys to the women, and what is happening in your family. Do you have anything to talk about? Do you need psychological assistance, for example, or everything, this kind of work. So this is what we are doing now in the ministry. We don't have political to face the crisis, but okay. And you know that I think that in every country in America, in Latin America, we have some situations that are the same. For example, the job, you don't have the same salary for equal job, and the possibility to go to a public university are getting down because the poverty here is getting up. So you don't have any chance to have your studies, and you just go to work, and that's it. And this is unfortunately impacting in our youth people, in the most youth people. You know, we talk about the I don't know how to say, but the word in Spanish is feminización de la pobreza, who means that the poverty is getting up in the feminism, in the women's. The women's are getting more poor than the men's. So this is what is happening here. And you know, the sexual activity, we in Argentina, the Communist Party is for the abolition of the sexual work. We don't consider it like a work, because our body is not emergency. We don't have the right, and some feminists, some people that are like a liberal feminism said, okay, but if I want to explode myself, okay, go and explode yourself, but please don't tell me that this is the kind, this is the majority of the women that just make the choice between being lawyer or being prostitute, because this is not happening. So we are fighting for the access to the shop, and this is a thing that is really important for us, because as I said before, we work a lot with the transgender people, and the only way to work for this population is in the sexual activity. So we said, okay, if we want to make people to give the right of make the decision of what they want to do with their life, we need to provide a real opportunity of work, of a legal job, and with a lot of, I don't know, rights and that stuff, and with the salary, with the social assistance and medical care and blah, blah, blah. So this is what we are working about in our party. This is our, I don't know, main job in the gender area. So I think that the impact of the crisis here in Argentina is in this way. First, the poor, the people, the women that are poor and getting poor. Second, the possibility of go to study in the university is getting, I don't know, getting slow, getting down. Yes, getting down, I think. And the femicide. These are our shows. I know I made understand.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. It sounds like your party has a really rigorous approach to addressing the sexual oppression of women. I had a point that I wanted to say. I think you referred to the feminization of poverty. I think that was the term that you're referring to, and we have
Yes.
a sort of translation here. Yeah, absolutely. And sort of going back to like the impact on women's everyday lives, it sounds like women are not do not perceive themselves to be victims. They are like active members of the community, and they fight for their rights and make their voices heard, per se. So yeah, it's really fantastic to hear. I think this is the last question.
Okay.
I have two more, but I think we've sort of covered it actually. So the next one I had, which was, how are Lafide and the Justice for Florencia movement holding the government to account and campaigning for Florencia's justice?
In the government.
Yeah, in the government and in the courts, the criminal justice system.
Okay. The government here is supporting us, the socialist party, that is the Peronism party, are supporting us to fight and ask and demand justice, and they are supporting us in our presentation in the court. But the other big party in Argentina, whose name as Radical Civil Union, but it's like the really right-wing party here, they are not supporting us. Of course, they are not. I don't know why the Peronism party is supporting us, but okay. But okay, so the radical people are like the queen in the justice power, because as every republic we have three powers, but at the end we just have one power, which is the economic power, and the other powers, the parliament and the justice and even the executive are ruling what the economic power said. So I don't know. The people in the court want to say that Florencia was like a common femicide, and they said, okay, let's find some lover, some guy who wants to kill her, and that's it. So I don't know. This investigation is not getting till now to any result. But I don't know. I don't know what exactly you want to ask me, but because before I think that I said a lot about the justice movement. But okay, the Florencia family, that you know that Lisandro was going to share with me this interview, but he wasn't able, and he was the Florencia's brother. Florencia's family are like waiting for justice, and they are involved with us to make some public presentation or demonstration, like march, protester things, and I don't know. For example, the 25, we went to San Jorge, and we went to the police station to say, okay, here in its fucking place. Every day a lot of women arrive to say, okay, I have a situation in my home, I have a situation in my shop, or whatever it happened, and the police people just say, okay, what did you do in order to get this punishment, or something like this. And the family, Florencia's family, know what is happening, and they know that we are saying what we want to say, and they know because Florencia was talking about it every day of her life in her home. So I don't know. We said that we have two roads. One is the court and the legal result, the research, and everything, and the other is the social movement. So we are working hard in order to get strong this social movement, in order to get to be more close of everybody, and you know that here we said that the sorority, I don't know if you use this word, but sorority is like the only way to save us. So this is really clear here in Argentina, and that's why the feminist movement is so powerful, because every woman know with independency of their political thought, you know. Everybody know that the state and the police and the justice and the government is here just to make like the show of the peace and the social peace, and you know that this is not happening. So in the movement of a woman, the anti-capitalism is getting strong, and when one of our songs, and what do we know, we think in the protest is that capitalism and patriarchal system will fall down together, and we will kill them. So I think that people is, I don't know if they are communists, I think no, but they are anti-capitalism, I know that, and they are anti-imperialism, and they know what happened with our history here in Argentina and as a region, and they know that even our population is the result of a lot of violence, and a lot of violence against women, because all of our family are a product of some situation of gender violence. So we know which kind of root, they said, we had. So that's
Yeah, brilliant. I think that sort of answers the question. Like, we've sort of covered it at various points of the interview. So thank you for that. I just sort of have one final question to wrap up, and that is, what can we do to help? Is there anything that we can help with campaigns for the Justice for Florencia movement?
Okay, so you know that Florencia was really interested about the thing that happened in every part of the world. When I talked with her the last time, she was asking me about the feminist movement in Mexico, because she wrote that there was a law that in Mexico said that femicide are like humanity crimes, you know, as genocide or this kind of crimes. So this kind of um, um, how to say, this legal figure makes that if you have any kind of violence situation in your life, even it has been like you was a child, or it doesn't care what time it passed about this act, you can go to the court and to make justice, even if you had this situation when you were like a lot of time ago. So she was reading about that, and she was really interested about it. And okay, we were talking a lot of this kind of situation, and she wants to make something like this in Argentina. So that's why we are really with a lot of courage to make this campaign. And to help, I think that we have just one task. We need to get stronger our feminist movement in a class vision. You know that feminism of liberal person are not what we want. We need to get strong this feminism popular, this feminism who is of the poor people, who is not about the what we could read in a book. This is a feminism of the streets, and this is a feminism in black, for example. This is an Afro-feminism and Latin America feminism, and we need to get it strong. So I think that everything that we could make, I don't know, every change, everything that we could make in order to get a best or more justice country and a more a better society. This is like what Florencia was fighting for. So, and in order to our campaign, we have two activities. The first is this kind of draw, the painting of the walls. You know, I don't know how to say, but okay, this paints in the wall.
Is it like a mural?
Wall.
A mural?
Yes, the mural. Yes. Okay, it's the same word, mural. And we have this campaign of a mural of to demand the feminist justice, and the other campaign is of a poem. I don't know if it's a word.
A poem, like a poetry word.
Poem.
Yeah. Poem.
Yes, exactly. We have this campaign is 1,000 poems for Florencia. And okay, we are working on this next month to make a lot of poems and to have this the participation of everybody who wants to participate, and we will make a book in March with all of those poems. And this is like a way to have Florencia in our thoughts, and this is a way to make Florencia was a really lovely people person, and she has two babies. I don't know if you know. She was mother, and she had two babies. The one, Camila, is only 2 years, and the other, Frida, who's named Frida, is 5 years old. And we want to be sure that Frida and Camila will know who was her mother and which kind of girl was her mother which kind of militant, which kind of person, and this is a way to make her know her own mother, because probably they will not remember her, and that is really, really sad. And so that's what we are going to do. We are preparing a book talking about some militancy histories to give her in some years. And that's it. I think that we will have justice for Florence when her two daughters will go to the protest with the same flag that he was handled. So this is the only way to have justice, because probably we will not be alive to see the socialism revolution, but I think that we will make the best for the next generation to have more tools to work and to organize the new society. Because with this kind of society, we will not have justice for anybody. We will not have justice for Florence, because in those days, from the 12th of October 12th till now, like I don't know if I am 44 people, 44 women was murdered. So this is not good, and we don't have a justice for Florence if a lot of women will still be in the hands of her killers or her abusers. So this is the kind of justice that we will do. The justice of and the revolution, and the justice and the change start with the love, of course, but with the fight. Because if we just start like a hippie movement of love and flowers, we will not be able to build a new society, because our enemy hate us, and this kind of hate is really, really powerful. This kind of love need to be organized in a good way. So this is what we think. And if you want to participate in our justice reclaim, I think that it would be really nice to have a lot of poems and draws and everything, like the art expression, because Flor was a really artistic person. She draws, she has a lot of rights, and she used to dance, she used to make a lot of things with the art. So this is our more lovely way to remember her. And as you said at the beginning of this interview, I was a friend of Florencia, but I didn't knew her like in school or something like this. I met her in La Fede, in our militancy place, and I saw her as a militant, as a mother, as a friend, as a sister, as a woman. And I can say to you that Florencia is the most stumble, I don't know how to say the word, but the most similar, the most similar person that I met who want to be the new woman. She really was a kind of new woman. She was an extraordinary guy, and I really miss her. You don't know how much I miss her, and see her face in our flags is unbelievable for me. It's unbelievable because 2 days before her murder, we had a virtual meeting to tell everybody and every comrade how was our discussion in the Central Committee of La Fede. And she was there, and I was talking like blah blah blah. We said that we are going to do that, blah blah blah. And she was texting me, "Oh, you're so beautiful today," and I don't know, this kind of lovely words that are like like a very nice heart. and I till now I can think that she was murdered, and this is not a I can think I can I can't. This is a lot for us, and we are really sensible because of that. But okay, we are fighting, and we are promised that we will have the justice for Florencia and for her two daughters, and we will build the new society for stop with this machism and with this patriarchal capitalism system, and this is what we want to do.
Thank you so much for telling me about her. It's so devastating to hear about the impact that she had and the tragic end that she had. And I'm really, really so sorry for her loss. And I can't imagine the pain that her and her family must feel. I really can't. It's so tragic. But your artwork and the prospects for the commemoration of her sound so beautiful. I'm not a very artistic person. I can appreciate art, and I'm sure it will be amazing. Is it something that you'd perhaps like us in Britain to contribute some poems?
How to
did you want the YCL from Britain to contribute some poems and some artwork, perhaps for the book?
Of course, we want to have poems of every corner of this world. You know that the last camp of La Fede was in San Jorge, and she was one of the people who arranged everything for the camp. And we had 33 international invitees of Latin America, since Mexico till Chile. Every country come to our camp, and for that is what I think that the international thing that we could make will be really especially significant for us. And so I will appreciate your participation, and I can send to you, if you want, something like, okay, the invitation for the participation. So if you want, I can send it to you.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I'm sure there's many like women and comrades in our YCL and in the party that would really, really like to contribute that. It'd be really lovely to be able to send solidarity in that way.
Yes, of course it is. And the family, Florencia's family, they are surprised because of this love of every corner of the countries and the world. Because, you know, even the Komsomol in Russia had made some picture with the show with these sentences, justice for Florence, and so they are really moved for this kind of actions. So I think that it will be really nice for her family too. So
yeah,
please.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so beautiful. Is there any closing remarks you'd like to say to end off the interview?
No, I wish to be understood. My English is not the best. And if you know, I had been like 2 or 3 years without talking in English, so I don't know. I think that it would be good to make our get straight our solidarity actions and our exchange and our meetings. So please, our youth league here, La Fede, is able to talk with you, and we have a lot of comrades who talk a best English than my English, and I think that we will be able to make a lot of this kind of conversation. Maybe because of this kind of conversation, this conversation now was important for us because of the political impact that had the femicide of our comrade, and because I don't know how to say vocera, but spokeswoman of this femicide. So that's why I am here, So, but to get straight this lies, no, ties, we are really able to talk even in other opportunities. And please send our love to all the comrades there in the United Kingdom, and you know that here in Argentina you will find a big family, and we really need to be closer in those time of capitalism crisis. So I think that we have a lot of things to do, even in the World Federation of Democratic Youth, and in a lot of sceneries and a lot of places. And I think that the feminism is one of our best weapons, and we need to use it in all the world, with the respect and the solidarity that you know that in each country the feminist movement is has their own times and their own development. So we are able here to change and to talk about it and to change the experience. And in Latin America, you know that La Fede is the responsible organization of the woman committee of the organization. So we are working hard on this issue, this particular issue of feminism, and we are making a lot of articles to have more political discussions. So these articles will be able in English too. So I will send them for you in order to know what are we discussion, which kind of discussion are getting in Latin America. And okay, we are able to talk about it and a lot of issue more. So please, we are here for you, and you are there for us. I know it. So I am really happy to have been this time with you. And okay, that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. We are obviously there for each other, and I believe many of the other YCL comrades are very committed to building branches outside of just the United Kingdom. And so I really hope this is a fruitful relationship in the future, which I'm sure it will be. And it's been so great to talk to you today. As you say, you haven't spoken English in 2 to 3 years, but you wouldn't actually know. You've done a fantastic job, and you've really elocuted yourself well. So high respect for that. I only speak English, so you know, I don't have a leg to stand on, you know. So yeah, thank you so much for coming here today, and I'll end the recording now.